let us welcome Dionne Jones, our guest for today. And Dionne has, I want to say, Dionne, first of all, let me say a special thank you to you because the area that she's in, and I'm not sure where everybody's living, but some of us are from South Florida and the weather is not good at all. Well, Dionne, the weather she has is I think it's tornado. Is it tornado? I think Dionne, you were sharing, and
Tornado warning.
tornado warning, but the warning or tornado is about the same because all of the anxiety and all those things that go along with that, because you don't know what's going to happen. We're just honored that you were willing to still, in spite of all of that, still come and share with us today. So Dionne Jones is a distinguished journalist, licensed social worker, author, and certified personal trainer. She brings her work a unique blend of expertise. I'm going to have her, through her work, share a little bit more about her bio personally, but I do want to say that she is revolutionizing the aging narrative and providing practical solutions and support for women looking to embrace their golden years. Yes. With energy, grace, and purpose. Her mission, which she pursues with unwavering determination, is to ensure that every woman she works with feels empowered to live her best life, proving that age is but a number when it comes to wellness and vitality. And seeing that I am going on 80, I can attest to that. And thank you so very much for being here. But I'd like to also share, being a Delta, I cannot let this go without also sharing that she is a proud member of my sister organization, AKA sorority, and our past affiliates include Mocha Moms, Jack and Jill of America, and so many other organizations. So thank you so very much, Dionne, for gracing us with your presence. And as we enter this conversation of recreation, and I think a couple of people mentioned earlier, that's why they're here. I just want to encourage each of us as she prepares to bring us her comments and her thoughts and her enlightenment, that your life comprised of many different areas and categories. And as we mastermind here, our focus is each month we walk through one of those. In January, we start the beginning of the year every year with the same one, which is spiritual. February, family. Then we go to the next month, financial. The next month is health. The next month is education. The next month is your personal development. The next month is your business or your career. The next month, voila, is your recreation. And then the following month is your civic involvement. And then finally, your creativity. And we encourage all of us to set these goals for 6 months, 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Personally, right now, I'm going on 45 years in this goal setting process. And that's why I tell people every time I have a birthday, I'm going 10 years into the future on my next birthday. So yes, I'm tracking 80 this year. Yes, not 80 yet, but my point though is I did this, set the plan, wrote the goals when I was in my 20s of what will I do when I'm 92. And the closer I get to 92, I'm moving it out further. And I just want to set her comments up by sharing with all of you, it does not matter why you came today. Because I don't care if it's your business or your whatever it is, why you think you came. If you don't have a goal in this area, what is it all for? If you don't have a goal in this area, what is it all for? So with that, I'll just go back on mute and I'll even turn my camera off. I get a drink of water and let me introduce to you our special guest today. And Dionne, if you would start by sharing a little bit more about yourself and what brought you to the discovery of the need to do this kind of work. Thank you.
Definitely. Well, thank you so much, Miss McNeill. When I received this email, you talk about the plans that we have made and where do we see ourselves in 5, 10, et cetera. Where do we want to be? And being in the wellness industry, I was significantly impacted by COVID because the gyms were shut down and most of the things I did was shut down. So I had to kind of reimagine. And it was very interesting because it was not necessarily a reimagine, but it was where I was supposed to be. So I have been blessed to be able to share my ministry with others on wellness. And it is the legacy work of my maternal grandmother, who in the 70s was way ahead of her time. We had to drink room temperature water, a gallon a day. We had wheat germ on the table. We ate no meat. My husband always teases me about my sheltered childhood. We had a garden, and my grandmother taught us things like we can't drink water or anything 30 minutes before our meals or after our meals because it impeded our digestion. And fast forward to all the buzz now, vegan and worrying and looking into how we eat and when we eat and timing our food and food combinations. All of that stuff is prevalent now. But in the 70s, when my grandmother was teaching that to me, it wasn't. So you plant those seeds, like Miss McNeill said, and you just wait. They may not sprout when you expect them to sprout, but they will sprout because here I am now continuing the legacy work of my grandmother. So that is the seed for Age with Vibrancy LLC. So I want to thank you for helping me with my presentation because I don't have any internet. I'm grateful this time no trees fell on our house. So I am Dionne Jones, and I am a master level social worker, a licensed social worker, and a certified personal trainer. And I say all of that because I use each of those skill sets to help me move through Age with Vibrancy LLC. And I am so grateful for this company because it allows me to help other women, which I know is my passion and it is my gift to the world to help women heal because I strongly believe by healing women, we heal our families, we heal our communities, and it ripples out to the world. So that is the seed of Age with Vibrancy, and I am the Chief Movement Officer. And as I stated, my passion is to help women have a total, well balanced life. And I know that sounds cliche and it seems to be a struggle for many of us because we wear many hats. But I can tell you that the older we get, the more we fine tune those goals and those priorities, and we do get back to ourselves. But I want to make sure that I get my young women rooted in that self care before they look up and they're in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s and wonder, hey, what happened? So that is the mission and vision of moving forward for Age with Vibrancy. So our company mission is to dynamically co-create healthy life outcomes across the wellness spectrum for women in the diaspora. And we've expanded to beyond the diaspora. But as I stated earlier, I saw a need in my community. So that's where I started. But we definitely include all women. So with that background, we're going to move into our presentation. So I want you to think for a little bit about playing outside. Yes, reconnecting to that inner child. When was the last time that you frolicked? When's the last time you even heard the word frolic? We are fortunate to have snow so we can have snowball fights. Have you even gone out and just taken your shoes off and just walked barefoot in the grass and reconnected to nature? Because nature has a magical way of calming our nervous system, reducing our stress, and helping our adrenal gland, which is very beneficial for the regulation of our systems in our body. Also, being outside and not just playing, but even just walking and hiking allows us to absorb vitamin D. And vitamin D, yes, we can take the pill form, but we know that the sun is best. So it helps with your bone health, your immune function, and your overall well being. So if you live in an area like me where you don't get sunshine 365 days a year, you may have to supplement with a vitamin D supplement. But I encourage you definitely to get out there in the sun and try a frolic. It's a one I love saying that word, but I'm blessed to have friends who have younger children, so I get to stay connected. But if you don't, one way to definitely stay connected to that inner child is getting outside and remembering what it's like to play. Something as simple as bubbles. Bubbles will bring you joy and keep you in the present moment. Being out in the trees, it keeps you present. We have so much on our mind. Even right now, you're probably thinking about your grocery list. You're probably thinking about tomorrow, what you have to do, your to-do list. When we are outside, playing, being with nature, you can be present and in the moment. And there is so much joy in that. And I just want you to stop and really add it to your calendar. Add it like a meeting, like you do everything else in your life. Make you an appointment to frolic. So we're going to move on to benefits of recreation. There are multiple benefits to recreation. My apologies, I'm on my phone. So the best one is a quality of life. As Miss McNeill stated, she looks fabulous. We want a quality of life. We don't want to just get old. We want to have a phenomenal quality of life. We want to tap into our own fountain of youth. Exercising, recreation, and movement prevents both physical and cognitive decline. People automatically think that just because you get old, that everything is going to slow down. And that's not necessarily true. Being active can impact your aging process, and it increases your longevity, which adds life to your years. And you want that included with the quality of life. You don't just want to, like I said, live long. You want to live well. Recreation also gives us that mental health boost. Once again, lowering depression, reducing anxiety, stress. So when you work out, you also help your brain as well. So your mental health, your mental health as well. So it's not just about physically moving, it's also about mentally moving, and mentally also connects to spiritual. So I love the fact that recreation just does not encompass movement. It encompasses our entire being, and I love that. Sleep. I have a lot of conversations with clients and colleagues, especially women over 50, having problems with sleep. And I simply ask them, are you moving? A lot of them have desk jobs, they're sitting. I have a few clients who drive for a living, so they're constantly just bent in half. So you're obstructing your flow, you're obstructing your movement, and it impacts your sleep. So if you do have a desk job, I'm sure you've heard this before, get up every hour on the hour and move for 5 minutes. Wiggle those fingers, do some stretches, do some marching in place. Don't just be stagnant. Think about stagnant water. What happens? Mosquitoes and infestations and germs and bacteria, all of that creeps into stagnant water, and we don't want that in our bodies. So definitely move to improve your sleep and also help with our heart health and our blood pressure. I experienced a friend who had a TIA, which is a mini stroke, more to without saying the complete TIA standing. But it really it really made me stop and reevaluate some things about how I work with my clients, because I emphasize movement, I emphasize recreation, I emphasize play, but I wasn't digging deep enough into why we need to do these things. And definitely one of the things is recreation helps reduce our risk of strokes and diabetes and heart disease, which is prominent among women, especially African American women, and our long term brain health. Yes, recreation helps us reduce the risk of dementia and Alzheimer's. Like I stated earlier, just because we get older doesn't mean that everything stops working or it works slower. We have the power within our movement to simply slow that process down. My oldest client is 96, and I love her to death. She still drives to her appointments. She still cuts her own grass. She is independent. And at first, it did drive her kids crazy because most of us, especially if you have older parents, you worry about them. But she works out every day. And I know that attributes to her independence still. So just think of some of these things as the benefits of recreation, and just realize that there's more to it. Speaking of my sassies, we're going to talk about the social support and connections that come as a result of having recreation. So I'm going to just stop for a little bit. Recreation, like I said, is so multifaceted. It goes beyond the movement. It helps you build community, holistic health, and mental health. So I am also a silver sneakers instructor. And for those who don't know that, it is fitness program sponsored by some insurance companies for those that are 65 and over. There are various formats: cardio, strength, yoga, swimming, Zumba, various formats. So I've been doing it for 12 years. And in that time, I have created a community. Started with 5 loyal sassies that I call them, my community. And we've grown to over 200. But in that time, we've developed friendships outside of the gym. So this is a picture of me and my sassies. I run a nonprofit for African American women and girls for advocacy, and they came to support our annual scholarship. Well, one of the women pictured here, we hadn't seen her in class for a week, and so we were worried. So we reached out to her, and she let us know that she had an episode with her lupus. And she broke down crying because she said, I didn't know that I could reach out. And she said, I've never had people reach out to me before, people who cared. And she like, you are all like my family. And this all started because we worked out together. We had the recreation. And so I say that to, especially to my women that are getting older, that recreation goes beyond just the physical. I'm going to keep saying that it helps build communities, especially as we get older. Some of the women here are widows, and they've created family, and it has been beneficial for their mental health as well as their holistic, well-rounded health. So just something to think about as we move along and get into the technical part of what we are supposed to be doing and how much we are supposed to be moving. So according to the National Health Interview Survey, about 24% of Americans age 18 and over met the requirements for physical activity guidelines. And those guidelines are moving at least 150 minutes. So breaking that down, because 150 sounds like a big number, but 30 minutes for 5 days out of 7. We have 7 days in a week. So 30 minutes. You watch the news, That's more than 30 minutes for some. So that's one of your 30 minutes right there. So 150 minutes a week, moderate to intense exercise, aerobic or strength training at least 2 days. But what really pushes me and Age with Vibrancy LLC is that looking at the guidelines for women ages 18 to 34, roughly almost 30% met the guidelines. So that's still 60%, 60, 40, what, 60? Yep, 70% of women that are not moving the required 150 minutes. As we get older, it decreases. So women 35 to 49, about 23%. Women 50 to 64, almost 18%. But women 65 and older, 11%. Almost just 11% are just meeting that guideline. And as I stated, there are many factors as to why women don't participate in recreation. Some of it is multiple hats. Some of it is we just feel like we don't have enough time. We've lost that urge to move or even want to take care of ourselves because we're so busy. So the factors that hit women the most, that kind of stop them from seeking recreation and hitting those guidelines, are being in that sandwich generation, taking care of our children and caregiving for our parents. My mom was in the sandwich generation, and she was coming to class every day, and she just stopped coming. People started asking, and she just got overwhelmed with caregiving. So caregiving, if you have a caregiver in your life, wrap around them, give them respite if you can, so they can just have a break, because caregiving really impacts a woman's recreation and financial wellness. Retirement, most women, we're not even going to get into pay equity this evening. Our retirement is usually about 50% of our male counterparts. So that adds stress. Once again, we're worrying about surviving. We're not thinking about recreation. We're just trying to make it day to day. And having access, health equity is another topic that impacts us and our wanting to be a part of recreation. Having those diseases, diabetes, heart disease, those things impact women, especially African American women, from recreation. Obesity, the influence of those around them, nutrition. There are so many things, but I encourage you today, don't let it be a deterrent. There are some simple things that you can do without a gym, without equipment, that you can do starting today to reconnect to your recreation and your inner child. And it's something as simple as cardio and low impact exercises. I mentioned walking, trying to keep my phone from falling, my apologies. Walking, which is low impact. If you are walking with a sister friend and you're talking, just be mindful of your pace. Don't do a leisurely stroll. You want to have a little briskness to your walk, but you don't want to be so exerted that you can't talk and can't breathe properly, but you do want to make it worth your effort. Swimming is wonderful for your joints. And if you're not one for swimming, you can still get in the pool and walk against the waves. So walk in the low end from side to side. And that is a wonderful way to burn those calories and get you a nice cardio workout in. Yoga for flexibility and stress reduction, and dancing. One of the classes that I do is a dance format class, and it is so much fun. So if you have any of these in your toolbox of recreation, I encourage you, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and we'll move on to more exercises that we can use for our body. We started with cardio and low impact, and we're going to move on to our resistance training. Now, a lot of women are very hesitant about resistance training because they feel that they're going to bulk up, going to look manly, and that's not the case. Unless that's your goal, that can be arranged, but that's not my goal. I just want to be strong and healthy. I want to be able to still open up my own pickle jars. So, squats, lunges, wall push-ups. You can do push-ups on your knees or from your knees. These are simple things that you can do at home. You can buy bands from I love, what is it, TJ Maxx, and Marshall's has a nice little fitness area, and you can buy bands and weights and kettlebells um, for under $15. So you can have a little gym in your home. And if you do and you're not using them, dust them off and start using them. So free weights and resistance bands, I say about 3 to 5 sets and 10 to 20 reps of each exercise. So you can even add weights to your squats, make it a little more challenging. We know that squats are one of the best exercises for staving off the deterioration of our bones as we age. So just simply sitting in a chair and standing up, that is a squat. So remember, you can even work out at work still. So keep it moving. And the last set of exercises, these are, I feel, the most important as we age. Our core strength. Core strength helps prevent falls. And as we get older, we lose more of that center of gravity and balance, but you can keep it strong by doing planks, bird dogs, and dead bugs, and so much more. Even just standing on one foot. Start with 5 seconds, reset, see if you can get up to 10 seconds. The goal is to get up to 30 seconds on each foot, standing on one foot. In the beginning, make sure you have a chair next to you. Make sure you squeeze your stomach, stand up nice and tall, and switching legs. I also teach Tai Chi and Inner Chi, and that is about flow, movement, and breath, but it's also about learning how to balance and shift your weight. So these are the exercises that I strongly encourage as we go across the lifespan. They may look different in your 20s. When I was in my 20s, I was in the military. So I did all kinds of crazy stuff trying to prove a point. Now I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm in my 50s. And my fitness looks a little different because it's tailored towards my comfort level and my ability to not want to hurt myself. So there are some people who still want to do burpees in their 50s. I'm not one of them, but there is a modified exercise for everything. And I love that. If you can follow me on social media, and I'll give that later, you'll see how you can modify exercises for the lifespan. So I just want to recap today why recreation, why it is important to connect to your inner child through recreation by, like I said, I'm going to keep saying it, frolicking, going outside and playing, because it helps us reduce our stress. And we know stress is a silent killer, especially amongst women. It improves our cognitive function, our self-confidence. We can sleep better, and sleeping is just as important as exercise because your body needs to reset. Your body needs to heal, and sleeping lets your body do that. Deep sleeping. So exercise contributes to that. It also reduces the risk of chronic conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and it improves your longevity and overall health. And once again, it helps stave off or reduce the risk of Alzheimer's and dementia. And the best of all for me, it uplifts your mood, those happy hormones, those endorphins, and your happiness. So I definitely thank you all for listening this evening. I hope you got something out of this because it was an honor to share with you. You can, like I said, follow me on Instagram. You can find all of that in my link tree. My link tree has my books and some videos that you can utilize. And I look forward to you all success in this mastermind. I am just touched and honored to be here this evening. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I wish each of you all a fabulous rest of your week, and go frolic.
All right, thank you. Let me just, first of all, on behalf of all of us, I learned a lot